Hey guys, guess what? It's time to talk about operations. Yeah, that's right. We're not going to be running any trains over here, so if you're looking for trains, check out one of my other videos. We're going to be talking about running trains here. Now, if you recall, my last couple videos, I've been talking about how I have been trying to kind of come up with an operations scheme. I've looked at car cards and waybills and JMRI ops and ops buddy spreadsheet and even a couple of goofy programs that nobody's ever heard of that did operations and stuff like that. Now, a little while back, I came up with sort of a dice method similar to Ops Buddy. He kind of came up, and that's not him, but Ops Buddy is the name of the spreadsheet that he sort of built, a little method that he built, and I can't remember his name, but I know he sees my channel, so I'm so sorry. Anyway, so I came up with this sort of method for rolling dice to figure out where cars are going to end up on my layout. And so I've been working on that the last couple days, and as you can see, I got all sorts of nice little colored things over here, and dice, and clipboards, all this good stuff. We're going to go over how I think I'm going to be doing this here, because I kind of like this method. It is rolling dice, and it is creating switch lists in the end, right? There's no car cards or waybills or anything like that. Now, let's step back just a little bit and give you a little bit of idea of what, how my layout works, or, how trains roll through the layout here. So, and this isn't a grand overview, but in effect, it's a little bit of an overview of the layout. So, I'm based in Southern California, both in the real world and the layout, and it is the sort of the local switching. It's sort of the last mile there. It's we're not running cross country or anything like that. These are all the layout is all local industries, and so it's a big giant switching layout, as you can tell here. With all sorts of industries all over the place. Specifically, I've come down to 18 industries. I can always add a couple, but we're going to say there's 18 industries here. Now, so all of the majority of the traffic and the operations happens with the local, running out of the yard and running out to industries and switching those industries. Dropping cars off, picking cars up, that sort of thing. So in order to come up with, some sort of random and organized method of doing this, I've come up with this method right here. So let's take a quick look over here. We'll get a little overview here. First of all, here is a diagram of my layout. And by the way, I know I get this asked a lot of times, but this is in the community tab on my YouTube channel. So if you go to my YouTube channel, click on the little part that says community right there. That's the first post that's on there, is a copy of this. And that's sort of the diagram of my layout here. So what kind of trains run through here on my layout? Well, there's basically three types of trains, okay? So, and kind of to sum it all up, what happens, very high level, is trains come out of staging, a hauler brings a bunch of mixed freight cars into my yard over here. Then the next train takes over, which is my little yard consist here. He kind of divides up the cars into the different, trains that are going to go out to the local industries. And then finally, the local, or multiple different locals, but a local will take those cars and bring them and switch them out in the industry, right? And then bring cars back from the industry into the yard here. The hauler will then take those and haul them back out into staging and the rest of the world. So that's how the flow of cars goes on my layout here. So let's start out here with what I kind of came up here. So I divided up my industries, and like I said, I have 18 of them here. So everything's kind of color coded here. Don't worry about that. It's more just taking a look that there are 18 different industries here, numbered 1 through 18, because we're gonna roll a dice to figure out where cars go. Now, I've also divided up the actual car spots at the industries, and I've kind of labeled what type of cars those individual spots can take. Like for instance, here at United Polymers here, you can see there are 3 car spots on one track, and they take different types of cars here. Now, all you you know, sticklers over there, those people, don't worry. I'm using my own nomenclature here for a car type. So H, hopper, B, boxcar, T, tank car. Very simple. It makes sense to me, right? So anyway, so as you can see here, that at United Polymers, let me put this down a little bit here. So spot 1 and 2 can take a hopper or a boxcar. Spot 3 takes a tank car. So that makes sense in my head, other than, you know, XO, DM, I don't know, all these goofy, you know, whatever, designations for boxcars. You can go ahead and do all that. I'm going to keep it simple over here, except I did have to kind of divide up my tank cars, because we have different types of tank cars. You have food grade tank cars, or chemical tank cars, or sort of oil tank cars. So I did make that sort of distinction on in my reasoning here. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of step through the process here, right? So this is my reference document. It has all of my industries on it, and they're all numbered, and we're going to roll dice, and then we're going to record all of that stuff on this little sheet right here, which is, I forgot what the heck I called it. Anyway, once we record all the cars over here, then we can kind of divide them up, do our rolling, figure out where they're going, and the next sheet here is our actual switch list here, and we'll build those switch lists for the locals to go out. All right. So I came up with a couple of steps here. So let me just show you this really quick here. So just kind of how my layout rolls over here. And hopefully you can see that nicely. So step 1, the hauler comes into the yard with a bunch of mixed cars, right? Step 2, we're going to write down all of those cars on my car list. That's this guy right here, right? Step 3, we're going to use our reference document with all the nice colors, and we're going to roll our dice and figure out where those cars are going to be going, right? And then step 4, the yard consists there. Well, not yet, hold on. Then we're going to kind of block those cars on the list in some sort of a logical manner, and then the switcher is going to divide them up, or the yard switcher, I should say, is going to divide them up into some sort of logical order here on our local yard. And then at step where we were at step 6, we're going to record any drop-offs and pickups that we've got to do. And yeah, so we're recording the drop-offs in step 6 on our switch list. And then last step, we're going to go take a look at the industries to see what pickups we got to do, if any. All right, so that's kind of what we're going to step through here. I hope this is kind of making sense. I know it can get kind of confusing, but that's why I thought I'd do a video and just actually show you, right? So don't mind the train in the foreground here. That's just a temporary storage right there. We're going to be looking at the train behind it here, starting with this yellow rail box car that's all nicely graffitied up here. And we've got several cars over here, and we're gonna run our little process here. So the first thing we're gonna do is record all of these cars. So this train came in from the hauler, from staging, and into our little yard right here. So I'm gonna go ahead, grab my clipboard, and we're gonna start writing this stuff down. So I don't know how this is gonna come out, but we'll put the camera over here somewhere, right, where you can actually see. So what I do is I use the last 3 numbers of the car, right? And I'm starting at the top here. So car ID is RBox and 255. And it is a box car, so I'm going to put a B, right? So there we go. Now I'm gonna kind of save you some of the trouble right here, and we'll splice the video. But there's our first car, RBox 255, and it is a boxcar type B. B for boxcar. Go figure. All right, so I'm going to record all of the other cars in a similar fashion here, and then we'll see what happens after that. All right, guys, so I've got all the cars listed down over here. Here's where the fun begins. I've got a 20-sided dice. Now, I know we've only got 18 industries here, but this we'll just say 18, or section 19 or 20. If that comes up, we'll just re-roll kind of thing. You could use one of the little, random number generators there. Just do a Google search for for that, and you'll find a million of them on your smartphone there. I like a physical dice, so that's the way I'm going to do it. All right, so our first boxcar here at the top of the list, we're going to roll and see what we come up with. Now, the whole thing is here, we're going to roll until we get something that logically makes sense, right? So we're introducing some randomness, but we're also going to make sure that, say we don't get a, a chemical car, tank car going to the lumber facility. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. So if a situation like that comes up in our roll, we just re-roll. That's the whole premise of the thing. So, all right, first boxcar here is a 7, okay? And we take a look at number 7, and that is Shasta Beverage, and they do take boxcars here. So I'm just going to make a note here in our list and say that goes to Shasta. All right. Next car, another boxcar, and it's going to number 9, which is SoCal Edison, and it takes boxcars. So I'm just going to make a note here that is going to Edison. Next car, I'm going to roll that again because I want it to kind of give a good roll here. So 15 is going all the way to Orange to one of our new facilities there called Ultima Packaging. Okay, so I'm just going to call that packaging. All right, and so forth. So I'm going to keep on going down here. Let's see, we got a tank car coming up next here. So now we've got a chemical tank car. So here's a good example of, we're probably going to have to re-roll here. So let's go ahead and roll, see what we get. Number 14, of course, it came up all right. Diversified gas, and they take any kind of tank car. So go figure. But let's make believe something else came up. That's where we're gonna send that first tank car here. So I'm just gonna say D gas. So I know where that is. But let's say it came up someplace else. Let's say it came up to, say, Sanford and Son, which only takes gondolas and boxcars. If we got a number 8, you just keep re-rolling until it makes sense. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do the rest over here, and then we'll jump back in. Okay, so I finished rolling for all of our cars right here, and I've got all the different locations set out. Now, here's where there's a little bit of leeway. There's a little bit of we can kind of have a little bit of fun here, right? Because these industries that we came up with for all of these are all over the layout, right? And so we've got to kind of sit down here and take a look, and we have a few options. We can try to make it as difficult as we want it for a local, or we can make it as simple. Now, it just depends on how you're feeling that day, how you do this, right? Let me show you. I'm going to pick the camera up here a little bit, and I'm going to show you a couple things here in the industry. So if we take a look at our layout here, it's kind of divided up into 3 big sections, and then each one of those sections is sort of divided up. So this section right here, which is Cerritos and La Mirada, with the Anaheim way down there in the on the left-hand side there of the screen there. This is kind of one section. So what we could do is we could say any cars going into this giant section kind of get grouped together, right? And then over here, down in Huntington Beach and Westminster, we could kind of group cars together by all the cars that are going to the different industries here. And if we scoot over here to Orange, we've got, several industries here. We could group all of the cars going to all of the different industries here. Or, here's the beauty of this kind of system with all of these different car spots, we can make up endless variations of industries to play with. And like I said, if you want to, let's say we got to take something down here to Titan Transfer, we could group that with a car. Let's say we got a tank car that comes to Titan Transfer. We don't have to necessarily group it together with a car that's going there. We can have another car. Let's say the box car is coming down here to FXI, right? Now that would be kind of fun if you ran a local that had to run all the way down over there towards the fascia to Titan Transfer, drop off tank cars and do some switching, and then run all the way through the layout and come over here to switch cars out, right? So it's really up to you on how you want to mix and match things, and that's kind of one of the beauties of having a switching layout with lots of different industries. We can kind of mix and match, right? You can make it as hard or as difficult as you want, right? And so in the real world here now, you know, there's only like 2 different locals that run this area, right? Because we're talking about Southern California here again. So LOA 32, if you want to actually look at the local, it runs down to Huntington Beach. And then some days it runs down to Orange and, you know, different spots in between. Sometimes it runs all the way down to Costa Mesa, which I don't model that little section. I could have, but it's just another section in this little world that I'm modeling. So, again, you can make it as difficult as you want. And also, here's the thing with having all of these different industries, it never gets boring, right? So here's where you got to kind of stop and think, like, what do you want out of your layout, right? Do you want to just run a train over a bridge like twice and then be done with it and then tear the layout away because you've done it? You know, and I'm sort of being sarcastic there, but yeah, some people just want to run trains. They just want to run a train in a circle around the Christmas tree, over a bridge, and just sit there and watch it go around in circles, and that's fine. But if you think that might get boring after, you know, a few minutes or something like that, here's a way where you can keep it not boring, is have all of these different industries, and we can just mix and match different industries together. Now, I've got, like I said, I kind of have a, you know, a logical divide here between industries over there, industries over in this section. I got our yard, and then we've got industries over here. So I can kind of, like, in order to keep it sort of, say, realistic and relatively simple, I could kind of divide up all those cars, you know, that are going into the different industries and make up 3 different trains. So in effect, let's say I had cars that we picked out and they went to all 3 different areas here. We could say, well, that will be 3 different locals, right? Or any combination in between right there. So what I think I'm going to do, just taking a look at this, I'm going to keep that in mind. I'm going to hold the camera here, but and I kind of started to take a look at this. So Shasta Beverage, and I guess this would help if you knew where these cars were. So let me pull out my little, little map right here. There we go. Okay. So Shasta Beverage, and here we are. We're looking at the yard right over here. So we're sitting right over here, kind of looking over here. Trains are going to run out of the yard here, go all around and do switching here. Shasta Beverage is all the way over there. So it's in this section. We could say this is one section, this is the other section, and this is the other section. So I've got Shasta Beverage, which is way down here, and it's down along the fascia, so it's a little bit difficult to get to. It's not like it's just off of the main line there. The next car is Edison, which goes down here, so kind of a Huntington Beach location. There's 2 cars there that I saw that are going down there. Then we've got the package place, which is over here in orange. Let me zoom up a little bit. The gas place, which is down in orange. FXI, which is down in orange. Soundtracks, which is over here in Huntington Beach. So let's just put check marks by everything that's heading down towards Huntington Beach, and that's what I kind of started to do. So we got an Edison, a Soundtracks. Shasta Beverage is another oddball one here that's going all by itself, and then we've got another FXI and a Polymer. So I'm going to say we're going to have 3 trains here. I'm going to say Edison, Soundtracks, and Polymers, because Polymers is one of those industries. It's the very first one we run into. It's right over here, and pretty much anybody coming out of the yard, that's the first industry they're all going to go by, so anybody can switch that guy. So we'll make that 1 train. And then we'll take everything that's heading down to orange over here and kind of make it its own train. So we'll put a circle by that one. So there's the packing place, the gas place, FXI. Okay, there we go. What do we got left? We got Shasta and Shasta. So that could be its own little local. Let's put an X right there. Now, I'm doing this kind of haphazard because I'm holding the camera and doing this sort of thing, but I would normally sort of think about this and make them in a logical order. So we've basically come up with 3 different trains right here, and we can split them off. Now, Shasta Beverage has only got 2 cars going down there, so they're probably going to get divided up and put onto our yard track. right? We've only got, depending on how many tracks you are, if you had 3, we've come up with 3 locals. If we got 3 separate tracks, fine. Then the yard consist over here will divide up this line of cars into 3 different tracks, 3 different locals going out, right? Makes sense. I've only got, well, 2 tracks per se that I stage cars in the yard here, and I shouldn't say stage, that the yard consist divides up or classifies the cars, blocks them, however you want to call it, for the local. So we're going to put, since Shasta Beverage only has 2 cars, they're going to end up going to on their own track right there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fill in my train ID. So that's sort of the local. So I'll make up names for the 3 different trains here, and we'll kind of figure out what tracks they're going to go on. All right, guys, I kind of divided it up into my 2 tracks for the local here. It's going to be track 5 and track 6. Now, we've got 3 different trains here, and that's why some of the 5s here that are going to be going on track 5, the cars going on track 5, are star asterisk right there, or sorry, 5 asterisk. And so those will all be grouped together, whereas the other 2 5s, which are going to Shasta Beverage, will be grouped together separately. So just a little mental note right here. So basically with this now, we are ready to run our yard goat right there, yard consist, and start dividing these cars all up, right? Now, I'm not going to do that right here because we're just kind of talking about the process here. We're not going to actually do it here, but let's keep on moving along here, because if we take a look at our little list of things to do, I think we're down here. So we just finished step 4, which is block cars together into trains, which we did. We got 3 different trains, taking location of industries into account. We did that, right? And we've written down the train call sign and the yard track on this list right here. So there we go. We got train call signs, and I basically just said A, B, and C, right? But you could call them whatever you want. You can come up with big fancy names. You know, I can call it, the Huntington Beach local, the Orange local, and the La Mirada local. You know, whatever makes sense, right? Like I said, here in the real world, I think there's an LOA 32, there's an LOA 44, there's a couple different locals that run depending on where they're going, that sort of thing. But, you know, we got to take a little bit of artistic license here. And just for the sake of clarity here, I'm just calling them A, B, and C. We've divided those guys up into the whichever track we're going. So now, with this, we're ready to fire up trains and work the yard here, right? So the next thing, after our yard consist divides all these guys up into their proper tracks, we're going to come over here and we're going to say that's step 5. Now step 6, for each train, A, B, and C, we're going to record the drop-offs grouped by industry on the train switch list. So if I flip this over, here's where we're going to take these, and we're going to make 3 individual switch lists, because we have 3 different locals, A, B, and C, right? And we'll write those down over here. And then what we're going to do, and I'm not going to do that right this second because that's pretty self-explanatory, but the final step right here, and once we focus in, is for each car call sign, A, B, and C in our list there, we're going to determine the pickups at the destinations that the cars are going to, and then we're also going to record those pickups on our switch list down here. So let me go ahead and do an example right there, and then we'll take a closer look at how that's going to work. All right, guys, we're almost to the end over here. So I picked an easy one. I picked our little Shasta Beverage car, which in our little, ABC train list right there, this is train A. So that's what we're going to be calling it. So train A is going to Shasta Beverage with 2 cars, an RBox 255 and a BN 744. They're both drop-offs. Those are Ds right there. And we even labeled the spots here. Now we can get a little funky. We can go play with different spots and things like that. Let's walk over here, and we'll keep you from shaking, and we'll take a look at Shasta Beverage. Now here we are, and basically there are 2 car spots here. The tank car there is in spot 2 at the moment, and I just kind of made this up. I said the the first spot you come into will be number 1. The next spot you come into will be number 2, right? Now, since we have 2 cars that are getting dropped off over here, it's pretty straightforward. Yes, that car is going to get picked up. Now, let's say we only had 1 car that was coming down over here. How do we know? Do we put it here? Do we put it here? Well, we can kind of have fun. This is where you have that leeway where it's like, whatever, depending on how difficult you want to make it, let's just put it here, okay? Or maybe you got to pick that guy up and take him with you, right? Or maybe he's not staying there. You know what I mean? You can kind of come up with a variety of different situations here. Now, in our little method that we did it, since we do have 2 cars coming in, it's already a given that guy's coming out, right? So the tank car is getting picked up. So we're going to go ahead and record that on here. Yikes. All right, sorry about that. My clipboard hit the sidewalk right here, made a funky sound. But anyway, so we're going to record this guy, and this is ACFX. I'm going to write this down right over here. ACFX, what is it? 446. I only take the last 3 of the cars. So there we go. We have got it recorded down right here, ACFX 446, and it is getting picked up right there. So there's our switch list for one of our locals right there. Pretty straightforward. Now, obviously, this is an easy one. The other one will have more industries and things like that. And but it was a good example because it already had a car in it, and I wanted to show you what happens when you know, you've got no spots there. You know, so you kind of make it up on the fly, that sort of thing. You know, for instance, Athearn over here only has 1 car spot. So if we had a car going over there, obviously this car would be going. You know, that's how it works. So at least that's the method that I came up with. Guys, I hope you got some ideas at least from that. Enjoy the video here. I know we didn't run any trains, but we talked about a lot of operations, and we've got colorful charts and things like that. I think that makes it better. Anyway, guys, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, all that good stuff, and I will see you in the next video where we will be running a couple of these locals. So stay tuned. This will be like part 1 where we figure out what we're doing, and then we're going to probably be classifying all these cars, you know, because we kind of skipped that part right there, but or at least we stepped over it. Yeah. Tune in. We'll be doing the yard work for this. I'm actually going to run this just the way we recorded it here, and we'll run all the 3 locals. So the next couple of videos coming up will be a continuation of all of this little process right here. Guys, till next time, take care, and see you in the next video.